Good evening, everybody. Hi, I'm Ryan Moffat from Uplift Performing Arts, here with you guys tonight on Candid Live. It's good to see you all, and like I say at the start of every show, let us know who's watching. Make sure you guys comment. They'll come through to me here at the studio, and we'll be able to see them. And even later on, as we are interviewing our special guest, like our other guests, you can send the questions in, and if I like the question, I might even ask it. So, I hope everybody's been keeping well in Northern Ireland, because I know we have guests from Germany and America who come on the show now and again. In Northern Ireland, the weather has been incredible today, and actually I've been out most of the day, and I want to shout out first of all to Harry and Max for helping me at the studio out the back with a mini digger and trying to get all that sorted out. So boys, thanks very much, I really do appreciate it. And then we also had Stephanie and Heather who were down, and they were helping to do some painting work. Now just making sure, folks, we were all socially distancing. Alright, we're all adhering to what we need to, but it was good to see people, and it was a wonderful day for it. So I have a wee bit of a suntan going on here, I don't know if you can tell. So that was a lot of fun. We have Connor and Taylor who have just messaged into the studio. Hi guys, it's good to see you guys. I hope you're keeping well. So as we keep on going with the show, folks, comment, let us know what's going on. But some exciting news for this Saturday. This Saturday at 6 o'clock here on the Facebook page live and on YouTube, like we are right now on multiple different platforms. You will be able to see Let Me Quarantine You. Boom! This week at 6 o'clock. First prize is £50, and we are going to close the doors right now, folks. No more entries because we have them all, and it's going to be a fabulous show. And just to give you more of an idea about that, just check out this wee video promo. So there we go, folks. Saturday night, time to be in, watching on the sofa, stick it on the big screen, because we have some awesome talents coming up for you guys. So at Candid Live, like you guys know, the show is designed to actually interview some awesome people, find out some new wonderful knowledge, share some love and positivity. But even more than that, folks, down here there's always a different charity. So this week our charity is Stand By Me, and we are trying to raise as much money for those guys as possible, because as you know, on Tuesday when I showed the promo video, basically all the schools over in Africa have closed as well, and the kids who would normally be coming to the schools to get their 2 meals a day, it's not happening. So Stand By Me are currently running an appeal, which we are going to put our money towards as well, to help those guys get the food to the kids. So to give you a bit more information about that, check out this wee video that Johnny has sent me over.
ሰላም ስሜ ማሳይ ፀሐይ ይባላል እድሜ 9 ነው የምኖረው ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ነው የምኖረው ከእናቴና ከእህቴ ጋር ነው ቤታችን 2 ክላስ ነች ውሃ ሁሉ ጊዜ አመጣም ከሌላ ቦታ እናመጣለን አልጋ የለንም መሬት ለመተኛት አይመችም አሻንጉሊቶች ብዙ የሉም ቤት ውስጥ ብዙ ጊዜ እንጫወተው ጠጠርና ገመድ ነው ከትምህርት ስመለስ እቃ በማጠብ ቡና በመውቀጥ ቡና በማፍላት እና ተራዳራለሁ ለዶሮቹ በቆሎ ወቅጫ ባላቸዋለሁ ጠጣቸዋለሁ ጡንቻዬም ትልቅ ነው ሽንት ቤት ግቢያችን ውስጥ የለም በጋራ የምንጠቀመው ሽንት ቤት ድሮ ብዙ በጎች ነበሩ ያሉት። የባሰለቀብን አሁን ትንሽ በጎች ናቸው። አንዳንዴ ዝናብ ሲዘንብ ጣራችን ያንጠባጥባል። ለማጥናትም ለመተኛት አይመችም። ድሮ ምግብ ማላገኝበት ጊዜ አለ። አሁን ግን ከትምህርት ቤት ቁርስም ምሳም እበላለሁ። ትምህርት ቤት ስሄድ ደስ የሚለኝ ከልጆች ጋር አብሬ ምሳ ስበላ አብሬ ስጫወት ካሉት ትምህርቶች ሁሉ በጣም ወደው ሳይንስ ነው። አንድ ባይሜ ጫማ ይገዛልናል። ለዛ ደግሞ በጣም አመሰግናለሁ። ሳቢ ትልቅ ሰው ሲሆን ፕሮፌሰርም መሆን እፈልጋለሁ።
So, folks, there you go. What an incredible charity. Actually, it's one of those charities that's very dear to my own heart and my wife's heart, because we sponsor a child called Adana from Stand By Me as well. So we're really hoping that through our sponsorship, but also through what you're able to give. And guys, there's no limit on what you can give. We deliberately set up that page on PayPal that you can give as little as £1 or as much as you want. So all of that goes towards that charity. So please do continue to give and to help those guys out. So, as many of you know, tonight on the show, I have a very, very special guest. A guy who I admire and love very, very much. He doesn't know that though. And I was buzzing to be able to ask him to come on the show. I was even more buzzing the fact that he turned around and said yes. So that made me even happier, okay? So I'm delighted to have him on the show. But before we bring him on to the screen, because he's down here in this corner, but before I bring him on to the screen for you guys, I'm going to show you a quick reel of what this guy does with his production company. Amazing. So, folks, without further ado, let's get the round of applause going from our audiences as we bring onto the screen Mr. Peter Corry, everybody. Woo! Hey, Peter, how's it going?
It's good. How are you?
I'm good. Hopefully I don't scare you too much. I can be quite energetic and quite out there, so apologies about that in advance. But it's all good. It's all good. That's entertainment for you at the end of the day. I see that you are home in what is the lovely sunshine of Northern Ireland as well.
Yes, the best day we've had so far.
Isn't it incredible? Like, honestly, all day it has been beautiful, warm, and just altogether good. Altogether good.
My wife's she's from London, you know, so
yeah.
When she moved over here, I mean, I dread when the weather comes up every day and it says London 27 degrees, Belfast 2, you know.
Yeah.
But today was one of the days I could hold my head high. Yeah.
I feel for you, because I'm the same with Amy. My wife's American, so she's just the really hot and humid climates and all that kind of stuff. And then she's like, "You brought me here to Northern Ireland." What is, you know? And you're just like, "I'm sorry. It's a nice place. It's a nice place when it's beautiful as well." So Peter, thanks very much for coming onto the show. Really, really appreciate it and taking the time to do so. But before we get started into the main interview, like I said before we came on the air, we have a little game that we play with all of our guests who come on. Okay, it is name it in 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do, right, and again, don't panic, it's all good. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put a stop clock up here on the screen, right? You can see that, yes?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay,
yes.
good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to name so many different things in the same category in 30 seconds. Okay, now Sarah Lyle, who's another UK and Ireland director, is our top leader at the minute with 11. Okay, and we've only done this with 4 of our guests so far. Okay. So I'm aiming high. I think you're gonna get it. Okay.
I'm not. I wouldn't.
You're gonna get it. So let's get some music going. Okay, let's get some music going. Perfect. Okay, so Mr. Peter Corry, you have 30 seconds to name as many different fast food restaurants as possible. Go.
KFC, McDonald's, Red Lobster, Burger King. Why have you got Pizza Hut?
Yes.
Oh my God, I don't do fast food.
You're halfway there. Come on.
O'Brien's, Subway.
Yes. 4 seconds. Time, Peter. Time. Do you know what? That deserves a round of applause. Thank you very much to the audience. Thank you very much. That deserves a round of applause. Peter Corry, you got 7.
7. I don't do fast food.
But that's respectable. 7 is good. 7 is not the lowest so far. So good job. Good job. You're not in the lowest part of our table so far. So good job. Guys, send some love to Peter right now in the comments. Come on, let him know. He's doing an awesome job.
Will know that that's not bad. Anybody that knows me will know that that's not bad where fast food's concerned.
I tell you. There you go. Epic. Everybody saying, Peter, that's good. So, you know what I mean? It's hard. Somebody got
I really wish it said Bubba Gump. There's a good one.
Bubba Gump, yeah. And that's San Diego? No, San Francisco. Yeah. But no, people are coming in saying, "Yeah, all good. That's hard. I remember one of them was like name different pies. Would you be able to have done that? Different pies?
Yes, probably. As long as your brain clicks in to think there can be sweet pies as well as not sweet pies,
There you go. A different time it could have been pies. But hey, 7, well done. Right, Peter, let's get stuck into our main interview tonight. Start off by telling our wonderful peeps, where are you from? And give us a wee bit of your background.
Originally from Belfast, East Belfast. Mm-hmm. Grew up on the Craiga Road, between the Craiga Road and the Ravenhill Road, so sort of southeast Belfast. And I always brought up with music from my church background and all of that. And then from the Belfast School of Music, but never singing. It was always with brass instruments.
Right, okay.
Until about 16 or 17, and then I decided, gosh, one night after church, we would go to somebody's house for a bit of a social afterwards. Uh-huh. I said, why don't we form a rock group? And the guys went, great. One of them said, I play the guitar. Another one said, I play the bass. Another one said, I play the drums and piano. And somebody turned to me and said, but Peter, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to sing. And they said, can you sing? I said, of course I can sing. And I went home and listened to a Meatloaf album, sang along with Battered to Hell, and thought, yeah, I'd give it a go.
I got this.
I started, really,
That's class. Because I was actually going to say, I'd heard your family is into brass. My family would be big into brass as well. And I don't know if you ever remember a program called Star Brass that used to be on TV as well. Like my dad and all was on that show, and I was like thinking, oh my word, that's class. Because you go to other parts of the world, and like brass music isn't huge anymore. It's not as big, but it's one of those really cool arts that I think is something that we really should cherish. Like I try and get out and listen to my dad's band as much as I can. If whenever I find out they're actually playing, and I think it's so cool. What did you play? Trumpet or euphonium or
euphonium? And cornet, and then later actually French horn. That was another story. But my brother, he conducts a brass band called Festival Brass, and my dad, who's just turned 90, he still plays in it, which is quite amazing.
That's amazing. That's mega. Good on him. Good job, Dad. Yeah. Good job. So tell us, you got into the rock band, so I'm taking that's how you got into music. When you were in school, did you do any school productions or talent shows or plays or anything like that?
A little bit. Sang the odd thing. No talent shows really, but sang the odd piece, but not very much. And then the rock band went on for a good few years until about 22 I was. And went one night to see a production of Brigadoon at what was the Arts Theatre. So the Arts Theatre used to be on Botanic Avenue there. Okay. It's no longer there, and it was the Ulster Operatics production, and I just sat back and watched. Well, I'd never been in a theatre up until then, Rand. To be honest, I had loads of music, but no theatre, and I watched this production of Brigadoon and just loved the idea of music, of dance, of singing, of characters, of story, of drama, all coming together. And thought, this is what I want to do.
That's awesome. It just takes that one little hook whenever you get into a theatre, just to be so addicted to the live and the atmosphere and the energy and the passion that comes from it all. I love that. That's class. But then how did you get into, like, I think I read somewhere that you took part in a talent show that was on TV, and that's how you kind of got really discovered. Is that right?
Yeah, some friends mentioned about they'd seen some advert for a TV show coming up, which was a joint All-Ireland thing, RT and BBC doing a talent show called Go For It. And so I went in for that and was lucky enough to win that. So went out on the Sunday night just before Christmas, and on the Monday, the next morning, I got a phone call from a London agent and just said, she called me darling. She was the first person to come.
Hello, darling.
It was literally like that.
I know. Yeah.
And she said, I'd love to I've seen what you're doing on TV. I'd love to represent you. I'd love to fly you over to come and meet me. Come over and meet me for lunch. She took me to the Ivy, which is like, and hello, we're back.
So literally all just from you seeing you on the TV, somebody just went, I'm going to contact that guy. So the talent show itself didn't have anything signed into it?
What's that?
So the talent show itself, like we've had guests who have come on who have been on Britain's Got Talent and X Factor and stuff like that, and they've always told us that you have to be in it for like a certain period of time before you can leave it. So I take it that wasn't a concept back then?
Well, that wasn't a concept back then. Literally what happened, one of the judges on the final was the head of line entertainment for the BBC.
Okay.
And he flew back to London and phoned this agent who's a friend of his and said, you should have a look at this guy. So that was it.
That's awesome. So what way did the journey go from there once you kind of got the agent? What did she kind of do for you?
Well, the agent I went with was a lady called Jean Diamond, and Jean Diamond was from London Management, which was the biggest agency in London at the time, and she got me. 2 weeks later, I was flown back over for an audition for Phantom, and so I went into the audition and sort of came out and phoned her out before mobile phones. Phoned her afterwards, and she said, "Well, how did it go?" I said, "I think it went quite well." And she said, "Who was it auditioned you?" And I said, "Some fella called Hal." She said, "Darling, was it Hal Prince?" I went, "I think that's who it was, you know." And so she found that remotely charming, that the fact that I didn't have a clue who Hal Prince was. And they called me back again, and at the same time as the Phantom auditions were happening, the Les Mis auditions were happening, and at the end of the process, because they're both Cameron shows, they offered me a small part in the Les Mis tour, the Bishop with understudy Javert and Jean Valjean, and I was going brilliant. And Jean turned to me and said, "I'd love to give you my advice, and my advice would be not to take this. My advice would be to go away and take some other jobs and learn your craft, and then go in as one of the principals in a few years' time." And that's what we did. So.
And was that good advice? You went and did your trade and then came back and.
At the time, and for the next couple of years, if you asked me that, I would have said I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
In hindsight, very much so. Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
cool.
very much so. As much because I suppose I went away and I presented radio for the BBC. I had my own TV series. I was in a lot of smaller or shorter running shows, so I cut my teeth a bit more because I hadn't trained anywhere.
Sure.
I hadn't trained I hadn't gone away to do anything like that. I was a civil servant who literally jumped into this. It's a complete change of life, really,
Yeah,
and
100%.
so it was a good way for me to go in many different directions rather than just going into one of Cameron's shows right away. And also, I suppose, what came out of it was I put on some of my own shows, so I immediately got the bug for producing, which has stuck with me ever since. And
it is quite addictive, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's and so in the long run, yes, it was definitely the right thing to do. But for a couple of years after I'd done it, I thought, gosh, have I done the wrong thing here?
But Peter, for you, it worked out, because for many, they would have went off and done it, and then life could have taken a completely different turn. But that advice you got given, because then you actually did go back as a principal. So you did in the West End, and you actually went back to Les Mis as well. Tell us a wee bit more about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that literally 3 or 4 years later, the auditions came around again, and I went for the next tour, the next UK tour, and they offered me that, and ended up playing the role of Javert, which is a still wonderful,
fabulous role.
And I played that for 3.5, nearly 4 years.
What was that like, being in such, like, honestly, it has to be the best musical in the world to so many people, Les Mis, and to be playing that role on a UK touring company in the West End, like, what was that like night after night?
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was really brilliant. It was such a buzz. The fact that I played it for so long, I mean, I'm amazed I did it for so long and was able to keep the standard. But I got to the end of nearly 4 years and thought, I've got to leave this. I'm not getting the buzz from it anymore. But for 3.5 of those 4 years, it was the most amazing job to go in and be part of that incredible show, and to walk on stage with such an energy each night and feel that you could deliver this performance and do the show justice. And I got some great experiences. The UK tour was brilliant. I played it at the Point in Dublin opposite Colm, so Colm Wilkinson and myself, which was lovely. Yeah. Then going to London to do it. And then at the end, when I left, I'd been doing, well, we were on the UK tour, I'd been producing charity shows, because for anybody that's toured, they'll know this, but if you're on tour for something like Les Mis, you go to a town for like our city for 3 months. Right. It's probably now, but when we did it, there was such an impact when Les Mis came to town, to Bristol, to Manchester, to Birmingham. Mm-hmm. There was a buzz about the town with this show, but for the cast, it was good after a while to give them something else to work on during the day. So we started to put on charity shows, any of the theatres we went to. So I would produce them. Sam Hiller, who's the resident Les Mis now, resident director. Sam would direct them, and Paul Monaghan also directed some of them. Paul, who's still in the West End, he's in Chitty when it was on, he was in Chitty Bang Bang. So I got the opportunity to produce quite a bit, and so dealt with Cameron's office. So when I finished London, the Odyssey Arena, now the SSA Arena, had just opened, and I got in touch with Cameron's office, and I got in touch with him and said, look, just a bit of a wild shot here, but is there any chance you would consider bringing Les Miserables, the concert version, over to the Odyssey Arena? And he immediately got back to me and said, no, Peter, but you can put it on. I'll let you put it on. So that must have
felt awesome to think that the man had that much faith in you at that time to go, yeah, just you take the show and you do it.
Yeah, it was a nice way to round off those 4 years of my career and to bring this incredible show. And at the time, actually, Ryan, it was the biggest production of it anywhere in the world. We had over 1,000 in the choir, and we had a cast from all over the world that came over to do it here in Belfast. And so it was a nice way to tie it up,
That you must have had some epic team with you at that point to have that many people. That must have been in class, big, massive production. Good on you. But that also springboarded you to other shows as well, where you played Sweeney Todd, Fagin and Oliver, James in the last 5 years, and so on and so forth. What were some of those roles like for you compared to, obviously you played Javert and all that, so how do you as an artist kind of get yourself in the frame of those specific actors?
Some come easier than others, but I think you've got to give your time to get into it. What was the biggest challenge for some of the other ones that came after that for me was that they were such short runs in comparison.
Yeah, for sure.
You really had to hit the ground running, and you just try and live as much in those musicals when you're doing them, and take what you can into it, and use what you. I think because also, I came to this business having not trained. I had to, and slightly older than some other people that have done it. I had to call a lot on my life lessons, my life experience to take a lot of these roles.
Class. And then you obviously stamping your own mark on them because of that fact that you didn't have all the training, so you're almost bringing like a real life kind of situation to those roles as well, because people are obviously being told what way to be trained and all that kind of stuff, when you're just walking in going, I think I'm going to perform it this way. And I suppose that's kind of refreshing as well to kind of see that from an artist, so thank you very much for that. back in 2005, I want to talk about a bit of a surreal time. I don't know. I wanted to find out where your head was about this, but obviously we all lost a local legend in George Best. But you were asked to sing at his funeral. Like, what was that like, Peter? Because that must have been like thousands, millions, if not, watching, and you asked to sing "Bring Him Home," one of the most emotional songs in musical theatre.
Yeah, I mean, for my sins, I'm also a Manchester United fan, so which added to it. Bizarrely, I mean, leading up to that happening, you know, obviously we all knew he was ill and I flew to Manchester that day to perform that night at a function at a dinner that Sir Alex Ferguson was at. Right. So Sir Alex and George passed away that day, and was talking to Sir Alex that night, and literally got off the plane back in Belfast the next day, and the phone went, and it was about me. Would I sing at the funeral? And the whole week leading up to it, it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of responsibility, but I mean, but I always say this: you've got to look at it in two ways. For all of us, it was one of our only icons that we were saying goodbye to. But there was also a family grieving. Right. There was a father grieving. There was brothers and sisters and children, and so it was quite a lot of responsibility. But it was very much an honour to be asked. And on the day, I just remember it was "Bring Him Home," and I think I was singing something like 11 o'clock in the morning. And from a practical point of view, any singers listening will know your voice at that time of the morning. You really have to get up early to get it going, to get it working, because it just isn't going. So I was up from about 4:30 that morning, and I was all prepared, mentally prepared. And then, of course, the one thing I hadn't taken into consideration was the coffin sitting in front of me when I was singing it. So it was very emotional, and you have to detach yourself from it and do the job. And yeah.
What an incredibly honouring moment, absolutely. You've also been able to perform in different parts of the world as well. You had a show over in Las Vegas and in New York as well. How was that?
Great. I mean, traveling is something that I love, something that a lot of us love, which you aren't able to do at the moment. And the chance to be able to sing in other parts of the world are great. I mean, everywhere from Mozambique. I've performed in Mozambique. I was just thinking about that actually whenever you were the video earlier.
Oh yeah.
The experiences to do things like that are just fantastic. And Las Vegas. I hope I'm not being insulting here, but it wouldn't be my first choice of places to go to. But New York was a buzz to do that, and that was in Central Station. I was in, I suppose I've been very lucky that I've got a chance to perform in a lot of different places and to see different audiences. I mean, I toured with a show in China, in Inner Mongolia in China, and I remember after the first night, the producer came up to me. Mr. Henry was his name. Well, it was his English name, Mr. Henry. And he said, "Peter, I want to talk to you." He said, "I want you to sing a song tomorrow night." And I thought it was going to be Danny Boy or something like that. Yeah. And he said, "Please listen to this." And he let me hear this Chinese song. And I think it was from the region, the area of Inner Mongolia. He said, "Will you learn that and sing it tomorrow night?"
So you're talking like 24 hours?
Yeah. And I said, I'll give it a go. So I phonetically went through the song and tried to get it, and I have to say, I mean, the next night it was about 5,000 people in the audience the next night, and the introduction started, and the place went ballistic. And I suppose you're always learning, Ryan, as a performer, and it reminded me that if you go somewhere else in the world and you make that special effort, not even as a performer but as a person, if you make that extra effort about how you approach them and acknowledge. I try to learn to say thank you in as many languages as I can. Yeah. You should have asked that question. And that little moment can connect so much with an audience and mean so much. And whenever I had a go, and God knows what I was singing and how well I pronounced everything, but the actual fact that I'd made the effort to learn an Inner Mongolian song, the place, it went down a storm, and so moments like that.
Yeah, because whenever I would go to Japan and I'd do directing for the Young American Touring Company, at the end of the show, the director comes up and says a few words before the encore, and I would always find a specific thing about that town that they were really proud of, because that's what Japanese people, they love all that kind of stuff. So if you were able to say that, then they just, like, they give you so much more, and it really does help the whole show and the atmosphere of the places. Because I was going to say, when you've performed in so many different places, that one of the things I find about touring as well is that audience is so different. Like, for me, an audience in the UK, they hold a lot of appreciation until the end of the show, because they want to absorb it and take it all in and then show you the gratitude for it. Where when you're in America, like when you're in Las Vegas, they're like clapping and shouting and getting up and dancing during the show itself rather than just the very end. And for me, it was the same in Japan. It was so quiet during the show, and maybe the odd small applause, but you wouldn't get anything until the very end. And even at that, like, I remember one show we were doing, and I was like, guys, tonight's going to be the night you get your standing ovation. Tonight's going to be the night, but you have to think it. You need to have it in your head from when the curtain goes up. Tonight I'm working on that standing ovation. I want to get it because I want the show to be the best it can be for them, but also for me. And I remember at the very end, they got the claps, and the claps were going nuts, but I, as the director, held back on their second roll by, because I was like, no, you've earned it, you've got it. And literally within 30 seconds of just telling them to hold it, the whole place stood up and gave it to them, and I was like, that's what it's about. So it's cool to see that kind of dynamic within our audiences, and I suppose we kind of think about that as well when we're directing shows. What way then do we need to tell the cast to approach it? So I think that's kind of cool, and that's the kind of knowledge we pick up.
Anyone that's been directed me knows the moments when you hold it for the audience to stand. If you deserve it. Yeah. I think it's times we get standing ovations when we don't deserve it these days, to be honest. That's another story. Right. But I want to go back to what you were saying there about different audiences. One of my first experiences, that was my first professional show, which was a version of Così fan tutte, the Mozart opera, which was a bit of a sideways turn for me. But after not taking the Les Mis role, about a month later, I was offered a part in Music Theatre London. It was a company that did modern versions of old operas. And we went out to Hamburg, where we played in Hamburg for 3 months, 3 months, in English. But it was a very clever, witty script that had been updated. And the laughs we got, the applause we got, the audience loved it. And then the show transferred to the Greenwich Theatre in London. And I remember walking off stage after the first night and going, oh my goodness, is this the same show? I mean, they didn't laugh, they hardly applauded, and one of the older actors just turned to me and said, Peter, that's a London audience for you. And you just know that, it was a lesson that I learned very quickly. Different audiences and you get it in different parts of Ireland, different parts of the UK, different reactions.
So then, obviously, by doing different roles and all that kind of stuff, you've now gone into a stage of where you're actually now able to mentor young people and younger artists. We know that you've worked with Joanna and Aaron, a couple of good friends of mine as well, doing multiple different shows, even when they were younger, but even to where they are now. Because I know Aaron took part in your Red Velvet Cabaret the other week there, which was a massive success. If you haven't seen it already, go to Peter Corry Productions and watch it again. And how did you kind of get into then starting to direct shows for amateur performing arts here locally as well?
Well, I do youth shows over here. That's the niche I go for. But I came home after the West End. I came home and I had a young family. I wanted to base myself here more, and just find myself being asked to do workshops. Yeah. Master classes, and the general progression for me after that seemed to be to go in the direction. I did direct a lovely little show called I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change, which sort of I put on that myself and really had a great time with a lovely cast working on that. And then around the same time, I was approached by Theatre at the Mill, which I know you know very well, and Bernard there asked me to come in and asked me would I do their summer project, and I got the chance to work with Wilson Shields and Fleur, my wife, my girlfriend at the time, and we worked on it together.
Was that Oklahoma? Was that the first one?
Les Mis was the first one.
Was the first one.
Oklahoma was the second one, and then by the time the third year came around, we were wondering, I was thinking Little Shop of Horrors, maybe something like that, and Bernard completely surprised me and said, Peter, I've been thinking, and I was thinking of, what do you think of the producers? And I said, are you joking?
I saw that. I was there. I actually watched Oklahoma as well, but like I remember watching the producers and laughing my head off. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. I was blessed with a brilliant cast, but I have never laughed so much in a month that I did doing that. It's one of my favorite shows. The script is brilliant. But we just had a blast doing it. But we needed to tweak it a bit because it was a youth production.
Right.
But it was both at Oklahoma and Les Mis. All three of them were lovely experiences for me. And of course, I really enjoy working with young people and passing on what I can, you know.
Awesome. Because then a couple of years ago, then you took on the role of artistic director at BSPA as well. So you're able to help those guys out and kind of bring in shows and do stuff like that. Isn't that right?
Yeah, BSPA. I got the phone call about that, and Tina McVeigh, who owns BSPA, asked me to come on board, and I've had a blast doing that, and really looking forward to getting back to being involved in that. I mean, it's a difficult time for all of us, but I really feel for the young people who I'm sure are all itching to get back and see friends and perform and get the buzz of that. And so BSPA's been good fun.
So let's talk about that, like with regards to now. So we're in COVID-19. We're trying as directors, we're trying as producers to think of new content to put out there that's going to be entertaining, but it's also going to be of good quality. Now, like I said earlier on, you guys recently put out from your production team the Red Velvet Cabaret. Now, tell us a little bit about what that is normally compared to what you had to adapt it to be.
Well, the Red Velvet Cabaret came from an idea. We did a show, myself, Fleur and Ashley, with a team. We did a show a few years ago, Moulin Rouge show, based on the music of the Moulin Rouge movie. And I love cabaret in the old sense of the word, that personal, up-close performance where you walk between the tables, where, you know, that really personal thing that you get in a dark room with good performers, good music, and an audience that listens. And that was such an enjoyable experience. We wanted to continue that vibe, and I wanted to get an umbrella title for a lot of these shows. So we put together a thing called the Red Velvet Cabaret, which we've done it in various guises. We've done it about B movies. We've done it about musicals. There's been sort of a horror story version of, you know, characters from horror movies. There's always a bit of fun and a bit tongue in cheek. Yeah. And when the lockdown happened, being a bit of a workaholic, which I think you are as well.
100%.
I wanted to get projects to work on, and one of these projects, I thought, why don't we try and put the Red Velvet Cabaret online and see what we can do? And there's been a lot of performances of people to camera, and that's great, and I think it's very good, but I wanted to do something which had a sense of occasion about it, which people come in and they sit down with a cup of tea or a glass of wine, darken the lights, watch it on as big a screen as they can, and get the whole atmosphere off it. And so it's a little 45-minute show with myself sort of hosting and a couple of special guests, including Aaron Kavanagh, Orla McCormick, Sinead, Ryan Greer, Ian Beattie from Game of Thrones, and Molly Logan and Maddie Calvin. So, and everybody does a turn or a couple of turns of songs on it, and it has a general flavour and theme to it, which sort of continues, and it gets a bit darker and scarier as the show goes on, you know.
So one of the questions that I know everybody's going to have on their lips is, how do we have Christmas without the music box? So any little plugs for us tonight? It can be an exclusive on Candid Live about any ideas about the music box, or fingers crossed.
The music box has already changed. The music box became Christmas at the Cathedral last year, which was in Dan's, which went terrifically well. So after 10 years in the music box, we just did a slight change. Yeah, I have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, but
and everything in between.
And everything in between. I think we're all just taking it nearly 6 weeks at 4 weeks at a time. I don't even know what we're doing in the summer yet, with, you know, whether BSPA can do something in the summer or not. Of course, we would think probably not, but who knows? And I mean, I know I had a tour of the Showman show that we put out last year. It was meant to be going to the Netherlands for 5 weeks, and I've just found that that's not happening, which is a real shame. But, you know, it's the sort of world we're in at the moment that I could get the phone call from the Dutch promoter in a month's time saying, Peter, actually, we think we can do it, and it's back on. So where Christmas is concerned, there will be something.
There will be.
Definitely,
Good.
definitely.
Everybody's happy now. Everybody's happy. There's going to be something, folks. There's going to be something. So, Peter, last thing, because thank you so much for coming on to the show, but you have released 12 albums. This astonished me because I've never even got close to one, right? But 12 albums. Any more coming along?
Yeah, I probably should get. This would have been a good time to get in the studio, actually, to do. Yes, I do have to sit down and do a new album. I'm well due to release one. What that will be, I don't know. Ryan, it's a case of my last album, which I was really, because it's very funny for anyone that's recorded albums. I heard a lot of people say this. You sort of listen to it so much when you're doing it and when you're in it
that you just
that once you've done it, you nearly forget it and leave it, and you don't come back to it for a while. The last album I did was a few years ago called Here Stands a Man, and I was delighted with the overall style of that and the way it worked, because it was a nice intimate feel but a warm feel to it, and in fact, one of the tracks from it I did on the Red Velvet Cabaret a few weeks ago. But yeah, there will be another album somewhere, hopefully soon.
What's your favourite style of music, Peter?
Oh, I don't have a favourite.
You just keep it open all over? Okay. That's good. That's good.
I'm obviously drawn to musical theatre. I'm drawn to emotional songs, but songs that have a depth where lyrics mean as much as anything else. I feel for me as a singer, I can only sing songs that I can relate to, and I can't sing soppy love songs very well. Not that I don't love love. I do love love, but I feel just me as a person, I can't just sing a song that continually says I love you in every other sentence. It needs to have a bit more to it, you know.
Class. Peter, thank you so much for coming on the show. I think everybody at home will realise that you are an amazing fella, and thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me tonight live on the show. We really do appreciate it. We've had lots of comments coming in from people saying thank you and all that kind of stuff, so thank you very much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. You take care, stay safe, and everybody make sure you go to Peter Corry Productions on Facebook and give their page a like and follow all the amazing things that Peter and his team are doing. So Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. All best.
Bye.
So, folks, there you go. That was Peter Corry. So, thank you so much, Peter, for coming on the show. Just a couple of quick things before we finish off tonight. On next week, on Tuesday, we have Scott McCauley. Now, Scott's a good friend of mine. He was on the TV show Let It Shine with Gary Barlow. He got fairly on, but he didn't win it or anything like that. But he is now a singer-songwriter coming out with a new album, and he's going to be coming onto the show, onto the studio sessions. Oh, yes. Studio sessions on Tuesday night to sing one of those songs and chat away with me as well. And then on Thursday, we're going a wee bit local. I'm asking, like Peter knows her as well, we're asking Joanna Johnson to come on to the show. She was previously a staff member as well at Uplift, but she's been studying over in Erdang Academy over in London. So I'm going to bring her on, find out what her final year was like for all of our students out there and other members who are watching the show who want to find out what's it like studying over in London. So she's going to come on and talk to us as well. But before we finish off tonight, we are going to have our video from the vault. So every night on Candid Live, we finish the show by showing you guys a video of one of our previous productions. And I thought it was very in keeping that with Peter coming on the show tonight, we show our Les Mis medley from our Broadway to Belfast production last year at the Mac Theatre, starting off with Mr. Ethan Adair. So Ethan, my friend, take it away.
One day more, another day, another destiny. This never-ending road to Calvary. This man who seemed to know my crime will surely come a second time. One day I did not leave until today. How can I leave when we are parted? Tomorrow you'll be worlds away, and yet with you my world is started. One more day all on my own. Will we ever meet again? One more Watching out of my head, twisted flow. Never know your luck when there's a free fall roll. Here a little dip, very little touch. Most of them are gone, so they won't miss much. One day, two, and you'll be thinking.
Wow, what a talented bunch they are. And I miss them so much. Oh, I miss you guys. So hopefully, like we said earlier on the show with Peter, I know that lots of different groups are trying to figure out different things, as are we. We're all trying to figure out what's going on. But before we finish the show, let's have a bit of banter with Sophie Greer. Yes, Sophie. Well, let's get Sophie's Instagram going here. Oh, you're going to love this one. The first one to come up is Miss Molly McToll. Just check Molly out. Molly is loving life. I don't even know what that is she's lying on, but that's pretty cool. So here we go. Let's find out with Sophie what's been going on. Oh, I'm so excited to see this. Let's go, Sophie.
Your fur is red, so beautiful, like an angel in disguise. But if you need a friendly horse, will you communicate by more? How will you speak to that horse? What does the clock say? Ring, ding, 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 ring, ding, 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 ring, ding, 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 ding. What does the clock say? Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. What does the clock say? Happy, 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 whoa. Happy, 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 whoa. Happy, 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 whoa. What does the clock say? What does the clock say? What does the clock say?
Oh, I hate myself for this.
Oh, Sophie, I hate myself for this. No, you don't. We love you for it. Guys, throw out some love to Miss Sophie Greer on the Facebook page here tonight. Let her know how awesome she really truly is and that we really appreciate it. It's so, so nice of you. Guys, that's pretty much us for tonight's show. Our positive quote for ending is this. You can never cross the ocean unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. Follow your dreams. You can never cross the ocean unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. Follow your dreams. Guys, I've been Ryan Moffat. This has been Candid Live. Thank you for joining us this week. Please do remember to donate to Stand By Me if you can, using the URL in our comments. We really would appreciate it. I'll see if I can even post it to you guys one more time. And apart from that, I hope to see you guys all on yes, Darren, I totally found the video or the pictures. Should I show people? Should I show? Okay, very quickly, very quickly. So Darren, who is my good friend from America, has literally just sent me these. This was us in Michigan, and this is me on a big rubber ring. Oh yes. And then this is me completely biffing it off the rubber ring. Yes. Oh, there's my wife. Sending me messages that you're all going to get to see. Pew! So, thank you very much, Darren. Love it. Sophie, I also applaud you for wearing a full onesie outside as you did that. So good job. Amazing. Guys, I hope you've all enjoyed tonight's show. It has been amazing having Peter on, and we look forward to seeing you all back, hopefully on Saturday, for Quarantine Live at 6 o'clock. Basically, tune in at 6. I'll be presenting the show. I'll have a few friends with me as well, and we will be judging the show as well, but the votes are going to be over to you, because you will be able to do some live voting through Facebook and all those multiple channels as well, to be able to vote for your favourite artist. And at the end of the night, we'll show all the things, put the votes up, come off air for a little bit, and then we'll come back on to announce our winner. So that is going to be this Saturday starting at 6 o'clock, so make sure you tune in for that one. And guys, apart from that, this has been Candid Live. Good night, God bless, stay safe, and bye bye.